Welcome back to our program, Prime Minister. So I want to ask you, what are Israel's options now? What would you be thinking about were you still in position?
I prefer to try to explain what the options, not what I would have been doing if I were Prime Minister now. I think that Israel has a compelling need to respond. No modern country suffered twice within several months, mid-April, and right now a salvo of 200 ballistic missiles aimed at its territory. So there will be an Israeli response. It probably will take several days. Probably there is a need for coordination with neighboring countries. We cannot reach Iran without crossing another two neighboring countries, and with the United States, who is heavily deployed in order to back us defensively. So, but I think that if you want to have an idea what might come, look at the Yemenites, the Houthis are about the same distance as Tehran from Israel, and with Israeli Air Force strike twice in the recent months or so, and always kind of a major port, oil refinery, or probably power plants. And that's are the most probable targets in Iran. Iran is sensitive, it's economic, it's hurt them painfully, and we can do it. We can do it more than once. But that's mainly. I think that the reservation that Biden raised about hitting the nuclear military plan will be taken into account, but I cannot tell you that Israel will not try to hit or to touch these subjects as well. Basically, I think that the Iranians will keep doing it, but they chose a strategy developed for 15 years, a ring of fire around Israel to cover the distance from Israel. So they had the Hamas in the south, the Hezbollah in the north, probably some other kind of the militia, the Iraqi militia, the Houthis, and even certain cells within the West Bank. Mm-hmm. So all this ring will be activated probably more forcefully.
Okay, so let me just take two things. Do you think that you need to escalate to de-escalate? I think what everybody's saying, oh my goodness, we've got to try to de-escalate, but from the Israeli side, no idea of de-escalation. It's actually escalate. Is that what you think is on the table? Nobody's looking in your country to de-escalate, correct?
You're saying I think that I think if 200 missiles from a neighbor 1,300 miles from you would be fallen on the British capital or on the UK, the British government would immediately respond very forcefully, and any other government would do the same. So we are not escalating. We are responding to something that you cannot avoid responding to. And since I don't think that we can afford spending 200 missiles on Iran, we will have to send our Air Force, which is superior to theirs. Mm-hmm. And it can do the job as proven under somewhat different conditions in Yemen.
Okay, let me ask you.
There will be
Are you surprised? How do you assess, as a former military chief, essentially the failure of Iran's missiles to do the damage that, I don't know, it wanted to do or not? Or how do you assess it? Is the weaponry useless? Are they incompetent? Is it just because Israel had such a sophisticated, air defense system plus sophisticated allies helping? How do you assess that?
We are working for more than 30 years now, and especially in the last 20 years, on what we call multi-layer anti-missile system of all types, from Iron Dome for the lower range, David Sling for the middle range, and cruise missiles, and the Arrow and Super Arrow, and this branch for the out of space kind of interceptions. And we are supported in identification of the threats by the Americans, And we are even supporting by the United States government, the UK government, and neighbors in identifying what's happening in intercepting. Most of the burden fell this time on the Israeli air defense, and we did it very, very successfully this time.
Another question.
It means that it's not useless, but it's very costly, even for Iran.
Right. You have heard your own prime minister talk in terms of regime change. You've heard a former prime minister, Naftali Bennett, very clearly last night say to CNN, basically Israel has its greatest opportunity in 50 years to change the face of the Middle East. We must act now to destroy Iran's nuclear program, its central energy facilities, and to fatally cripple this terrorist regime. We have the justification, we have the tools. There are times when history knocks at our door and we must open it. This opportunity must not be missed. Do you support regime change? Is that what you think the government should attempt now, your government?
Look, I would love to see a regime change. The Iranian people is a great people. They have suffered very bad ayatollahs at the top. But I'm probably older and probably more realistic a little bit than Bennett. He's a great guy, and I wish him all success in Israeli politics in the coming round. But I think that if you have seen Netanyahu in the UN with these two maps, the alliance of blessing, I believe that in order to run a full-scale attempt to change the Middle East, we need all these alliance of blessing, led by the United States, having the Sunnite autocracies around us, Israel, and backing by Western Europe and the EU and like-minded countries in North America and the Far East. We need this wide alliance of moderates that Biden proposed 11 months ago and repeatedly raised, something that our military and defense establishment proposed to Netanyahu all along the way and strongly fought for reasons that is kept by Netanyahu kind of not fully explained. He rejected it all the time, except for in his speech in the UN. This is the way. Israel is very strong. Israel cannot rearrange the Middle East on its own. We need this alliance to be with us, and it needs trust, it needs building trust, it needs coordination, cooperation. Even the rejection, or even the failing missile attack were helped by this de facto under the surface alliance. We need them in the open.